You guys want to hear a joke?
All right, next comic coming to the stage is Elliott Connie.
Please make a whole lot of noise for Elliott Connie!
Elliott Connie!
I know you guys know me as a psychotherapist, but as my life is getting crazier, odd opportunities are coming my way. And these days, I'm doing more and more stand-up comedy. As I've been spending more time out in Hollywood, I've become really close friends with Tiffany Haddish. And because of that friendship, I've been able to go with her to comedy clubs and comedy shows. And one time she called me and she told me she was going to a comedy show in Malibu. Now, those of you who don't know that part of the world, Malibu is about a 50-minute drive from LA. So Tiffany comes, picks me up, and we drive all the way to Malibu. Now, when we got to Malibu, we're sitting in the green room, and there was a host that night who had never hosted before, and he was visibly nervous. This host was really nervous, and Tiffany was concerned with his level of nerves. So she turns to me and says, "Will you host for me tonight?" Now, me not understanding what that meant, I said, sure. I thought hosting was, I would just go out on stage, introduce her, she would come out and kill it as the comic that she is. So I said, sure. And then Tiffany looked at me with this mischievous look in her face, and she says, "You know that means you have to do about 5 minutes of comedy to start." And I said, "Oh no, then I'm not doing that. Never done stand-up comedy before in my life. Like, no way, I'm not doing that." And she said, "Then you can't do it." I said, "Tiffany, there's no way." Now, she has this thing about her. Number one, when she cares about you, she really wants you to be the best version of you. And I'm fortunate enough to be one of the people that Tiffany cares about. Number two is she doesn't understand people not being willing to take a risk. So when I was saying no, she looked at me very puzzled, like, why wouldn't you? I'm like, Tiffany, you're one of the greatest comics that has ever lived. You've been doing this since you were 16 years old. You've been mentored by people like Richard Pryor. There's no possible way I'm gonna take a stage, having never done this before, in front of you. And she was puzzled, disappointed, but she accepted my answer. The original guy hosted, and the night went fine. Now, later on that night, we get in the car to drive back, and Tiffany looks at me and says, "I am so disappointed." And I said, why? Like, for me, it's a very logical explanation why I wouldn't do that. And I said, why? And she said, because I thought you were the kind of person that would try anything once, just to see. And I could see, I mean, she wasn't joking, and if you know Tiffany, 90% of the time she is joking, not serious. But this time she was dead serious. I said, "Tiffany, I'll tell you what, I promise you, no matter what, the next time you ask me to perform, I will do it. I will say yes." And she said, "You promise?" I said, "Yes, I promise." She said, "Elliott, you're funny. You can do this. I believe in you. So if I ask you, you have to say yes." I said, "Okay." Somebody later told me, like, so many comics would like die to be in that position, and I was taking it for granted, which is probably true. A couple of weeks later, Tiffany called me and she said, "I'm performing in San Jose. I want you to open for me. You got to do 10 minutes. And I said, yes. I kept my promise. I said, yes. And my life changed, actually, because like there's this bug you get. You know, I stood up on that stage that weekend. I ended up performing 5 times in front of 5 sold-out audiences at the San Jose Improv, which holds about 750 people. And I'll never forget that very first laugh. I knew, like, I want to be doing this as a part of what I already do, flying around the world, inspiring people and educating people and informing people. I realized in that moment that laughter is a part of the journey of mental health. Like, if you're going through something difficult, laughter is a healing activity. It literally scientifically releases serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine. Like, laughter is healing. And in that moment, I was like, oh, there's another way I could be on my healing journey as a healer. And from that point on, I've been hooked and trying to take as many stages as I can. I've performed all over LA, the Comedy Chateau, the Laugh Factory, a few other clubs. I've been in Phoenix, Arizona, San Jose, California, Irvine, California, Arlington, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. This has been a cool journey. Look, if there's one piece of advice I can give you, is try new things. That's the only way that you can discover something you don't know about yourself. Be willing to be uncomfortable, take a risk, take a chance. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, you never have to do it again, but best case scenario, it works, makes a difference in your life and changes everything. Try new things, take a risk. Your future self is dependent upon it.